Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
Welcome to the Sunshine Sisters podcast. I'm Sabrina.
I'm Kylie.
And we are so excited that you are here with us today and listening. We are having so much fun doing this. It has been so exciting for us. And so we're glad that you're here. My sky is like perfectly blue right now. I don't know if yours is right now, Kylie, too.
Yes, it is. It's very blue and sunshiny outside, which I'm very much enjoying because it's been very snowy up here lately, too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it got so cold up there. I'm so glad I'm not there.
I know. It's been so snowy. We had some really nice days where I thought that spring really was just around the corner, which I think it is spring, but it's just Utah spring in the north.
It just takes its time. It likes to tease you.
It does.
You're like sunny, and then never mind. You have to.
I know.
A rainy or
so
snowy
good.
day. It's been a long, cold, lonely winter, as the Beatles say. We are.
Yes.
And it has come.
We love it. We love this song.
Absolutely. We want to talk about what your sunshiny moment of the last week was.
Ooh,
so,
I would
Kylie,
love
what
to
was
share.
yours?
I guess it would have been last Friday. My mom and I, we went to a cute little boutique together, and we got to look at all of these cute small businesses, and it was just so fun, and it was just really nice to be with her. And then there was this really cute older lady, this cute old grandma that my mom knows, and so we stopped to say hello, and she was just so sweet. And, I learned that this lady was in my mom's neighborhood growing up when she was little. So she's known this family for a long time. And this lady was friends with my grandma and grandpa, which they've now passed away. And I miss them a lot. I was really close to my grandparents. And so it was just really tender, just like being with someone who knew my grandma, who was friends with her, and it just kind of just made me feel a little bit closer to my grandma that day. But anyway, so as we were talking to her, she of course asked how we were doing, and then we asked how she was doing, and she was like, well, we're doing good over here. I'm doing well. My family's doing well. Although my husband, he has cancer, and so we've been, dealing with a lot of cancer things and appointments and all of that. And she was like, I guess that's just kind of part of what happens when you get old. Like, your body just starts to do those things, but we just make the best out of life. And, we just look for the good and just keep going and, be grateful for what we have. And I was just in awe when she said that, because I had been feeling like lately I had just been complaining so much life. Sometimes that happens where there's just things that, maybe frustrate you or
so
annoy
real.
you. And
so
I'm like,
real.
yes. It's like, oh, I need to be better. I need to be better at not complaining so much. Because really, like, my life is great. I have a great life, overall. Like, I have the sweetest husband. I live in a cute little apartment in this cute little town, and I live in a beautiful place and have great family. I just have to remember those things. And so I feel like ever since that moment, I've just been pondering on it this week, and I feel like it's made a difference in my life where I feel like I have been less complaining. At times, I'm definitely not perfect some days, but I try my best. No, I think it's given me a better outlook on life since. I'm just being grateful of where I am now, because it's so easy to think of all the things that can be better in life, and how, oh, it's just around the corner. Like, we're almost there. Like, once we have enough money, we're gonna get this. Or, like, once I get older, like, I can do this. I don't know, whatever it is. Or,
Yes.
or once we
Yes.
live in a different place, then I can do this. And, I don't know, start a family or whatever it is. But, I just am learning to be grateful for the moment, because I don't know. I feel like if I focus too much on the future, then, which, you can prepare for it and do our best to be ready for what comes, but we're really never gonna know what comes tomorrow. And so we can only control today. And I want to do my best at trying to make what is today, beautiful. And so it's just what I've been thinking about
I
lately. So,
love that. I love that. And you said that so well, because I totally feel like that is me all the time. And I mean, I can get sometimes like to a fault too much in the moment, as I'm just thinking about like just whatever is on my mind in the moment. But that doesn't mean that I'm being present and being grateful for what's in the moment, because I oftentimes, and I think it's normal for most of us to be like, oh, once this thing happens, or once I get to this certain milestone, or I have more money for all these things, then that's when my life is gonna be good. And I have noticed my husband and I do this all the time. Is like, he is so good at like checking me in with this, because I'm always like, oh, we should get this thing, or we should do this thing, or we need to do this, we need to plan for this, or whatever. And then we have to be like, you know what? We have it so good. We have it so good, like to be our age, or having these things going on. Like, there's just so much good to just notice. And there is a reason you're in the moment that you are. I've noticed, as like lately, I've had family trials going on, and it has me thinking like, I'm going to pray for a miracle to change this situation. I'm just going to pray that Heavenly Father will just change things. And as soon as we become this, or as soon as we become healthy individuals, or I become healthy, or this other person, whatever it is, like, then I'm like, as soon as we're all happy, we're going to be great, And that's just not realistic, because we're not ever gonna just wake up and be happy one day, Like, it's more of, this has to happen right now. And sometimes we have to just be where we are now. And God's like, I'm still using you, and I'm still working through things. Notice me, like, pay attention to the tender mercies that I'm sending you all the time. So I love that. That was a perfect sunshiny moment.
oh, thanks, Sabrina. Thanks for your thoughts too. I think that was so lovely. And you just made me think about how, like, yes, this is our life. And I know we've talked about this before, Sabrina, but I know we can be people pleasers a lot, and we just want everyone else to be
Yes.
happy. Like you said,
I
you just
do know this of ourselves.
yes. Like, you just want your family all to be happy, and like I
Yeah.
can be a similar way at times, where like I want to make sure everyone's feeling good and happy, or like my Pilates clients, like I want them all to be happy and feeling good, and if they can feel good, then I'm gonna feel good.
Yeah.
And I really have to back down and be like, yes, their happiness is important, and I do want the best for them. But I'm important too. I'm important too. And that's not being selfish. Like, we are here on our own journey. We're here to learn. We're here. We have our bodies to learn in. Like, life is just this test, and Heavenly Father needs us to be here to learn, to experience joy, so that we can come back to Him one day. And so, like, ultimately, like, this is our path. And so, like, yes, we want to have our families with us, and we want to have our loved ones all be okay. But I think we just have to put it in the Lord's hands and trust that He'll take care of it. And we only have control over our agency. And so we just have to do the best we can. And that's
Mhm.
in the best way we know how. We have to do the best we can in the ways we know how. And so,
Yes, because we don't
yes.
have all the knowledge yet. We're not going to. We have to experience, we have to fail, we have to hurt. And I was just thinking too, is we're not doing this alone. First, we have God that we can always connect with, and He continues even when we're complaining sometimes. He might like say, hey, maybe work on this, but He still is going to be like, well, I'm going to send you some love because I love you. On top of that, He sent us the greatest gift of love, which is Jesus Christ. And we can walk hand in hand with Him every single day. He can be our friend through the thick and the thin, and we can talk with Him. He can be close to us. And so we're not alone in that. And the Spirit is also with us to continually guide us. And it leads us to other people in our lives that we're meant to connect with and that God sends in our lives. And so, like, He set us up very well. He set us up very nicely. We're not just supposed to sit and go through life just trying to be happy and good all the time. Like, He knows we're not gonna be. And so He gave us lots of acts of love in people and a Savior, especially, to help us to achieve that, to have joy, even when joy doesn't look like it can be found.
That is so good. That is so good. And I'm so glad you reminded us of that, because even though this may be like our life and we get to decide what we do with our life, ultimately we are never alone. And Jesus Christ is always there for us. His hand is always reaching out. We just have to grab onto it. And so I'm so glad you reminded us of that, because it makes life feel so much more hopeful and beautiful.
Yes, love
Which,
it.
Sabrina, I would love to hear your sunshiny moment. I think we'd all love to hear your sunshiny moment.
I would love to share my sunshiny moment. What came to me was I have been running lately, and for those who know me, I am not a runner. Like, it's really hard for me.
Me too.
It's really hard, and I decided to train for a half marathon, which I've never done before. But I've been running like my long runs on Saturdays with my dad, and we had a run this last Saturday, and this was like one of my it's just something I look forward to every week, and especially this last week. God has really used my dad as a vessel for me to, sometimes receive inspiration or just have somebody to talk to. And especially as we've been doing these runs that even though they're really, really hard for me to do, I ran my first, what did we run? 8 miles last week. It's very
Wow,
fun.
that's amazing.
Thank you.
I've never run 8 miles before.
I hadn't either. I hadn't either. But it's brutal, and my mind game it's weak. It's weak. And so having my dad there, he pushes me through not only physically, but like mentally and emotionally for the run, but also for life. And he's been able to open up with me too and connect with me. And I have felt like it was just like the juice I needed in my life is being able to have these connection moments. Like, I love connection moments. I love times where you're vulnerable with someone and they're vulnerable with you, and you feel the Spirit just pour down upon you, even as we're running up a stupid hill that I don't want to go up. But we're talking about the Lord, and He's receiving revelations for His life, and I'm receiving it for mine, and we're receiving it together, and it's just everything to me. And I'm so grateful that God gives those to me, that He gives me those moments that we connect and that we see each other's souls. I feel like He just shines His light down on that, and He's just like, I love you, be together, I love this, like, this is what I want. Which this podcast is so perfect because of that. Like, I love that Kylie and I get to connect, and when we meet beforehand and in our phone calls when we talk each week, like, having those people that just want to see your soul and you want to see theirs, and you feel the Spirit in between you and the light just shines upon you. I love it. I love it. And it never has to be perfect for the Spirit to be there. I know that we're never going to be perfect as we're communicating and everything, but God just loves us to be together. And He loves us when we talk about Him too. And He loves us always. So that's my
Oh,
sunshiny moment.
thanks for sharing. I love your sunshiny moment. That was wonderful. And I appreciate
Thank you.
all of that. And I think it's so true. We as humans, we need connection in our lives. I've learned a lot about that in books and, in all sorts of different places that, yeah, we need connection in our lives. It makes a huge difference. And if we find connection through the right things and the right people, it can lead us to find success and joy in life. And so I think that is just so perfect. And I also loved that you said that you don't need to be perfect to feel the Spirit, because, like Sabrina said before we jumped on here, I have to admit this morning has not been the best morning for me.
Not the best time.
Just one of those days where it almost feels like everything goes wrong. And they're not even big things. They're just these tiny things that just seem to go wrong. And I'm like, Sabrina, I feel like I need to get out of my head so that I can be ready to feel the Spirit and everything. And so I feel like just hearing you say that just made me realize, oh, yes, like, it's okay. It's okay that maybe I had a bad morning. And it's okay to have imperfect days. Every day is gonna be imperfect. There's always gonna be something. But that's okay, because the Lord knows that. And again, He's always reaching out, and we can still feel His Spirit. And I know I have still been able to feel the Spirit just talking to Sabrina and everything, and just her listening and letting me share my feelings and thoughts. And then she said the most beautiful opening prayer just to kind of help all of that fade away. And so I just love the Lord, and I love the Spirit, and I'm grateful that He can be with us even on days we feel imperfect.
I love it. And I'm not going to say I'm glad you had a bad morning, because that would be mean to say that I'm glad your morning sucked. But I am glad that we can only have those sorts of conversations when we experience the realness of life. We can only be able to have greater connections with God when we are needing Him, or when we're needing other people. I need you, Kylie. I need our conversations, and I need lots of light and good people around me that just help me to connect with God, because I'm gonna not be a perfect person, and I shouldn't be a perfect person. And that's something I think we get wrong all the time, is that we're supposed to show up as our 100%, but I don't think Jesus ever said that. I don't think He ever once in the Bible, the Book of Mormon, ever said, you need to be your best self in this lifetime. I think He told us to strive, and I think He told us to turn to Him and to rely on Him. That's really what His main message was, is that look to me, and I'll help you, and I'll give you the tools, I'll give you the attributes or the things that you can do, but just remember you're gonna need me, because you're not gonna do it all right. And you shouldn't do it all right, because then we wouldn't need Him, but we should need Him, and we should need each other.
I love that. I love that. It made me think about how, if we ever feel that pressure to be perfect, which I know I can be a perfectionist at times, something that helps me is remembering that even if I said the right things, did the right things every day for the rest of my life, I still wouldn't be perfect because I'm not resurrected. And I won't be resurrected until after this life. So even if I did all the right things, I'm still not perfect because my body isn't perfect. And yes, I can try to take care of it. I can try to do all those things. But ultimately, we are perfected when Christ comes again and he can make our bodies beautiful and perfect again, just like he is. And so I think I have to remind myself that and just give myself a little slack that, hey, even if I try to do everything perfect, I still wouldn't be, because there are still a lot of steps to get there. And so it's okay that sometimes I don't always say the right things. Maybe I don't always make the right decisions at times, but ultimately we're just doing our best so that we can get to those steps to eventually be perfected in Jesus Christ. And so this is something I was thinking about. So
Yes, and that's something we so get wrong. And that's something that I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to say that people have taught it wrong or that we've learned it in the church wrong, but I think we personally get it wrong, that when he says, be therefore perfect, it doesn't mean in this life. Like, no way. That is ridiculous. And to think that other people think that we think that way, I mean, it's just so unrealistic. And we should know that that's not going to happen. And what a blessing that after this life, we have incredible things that are going to happen. And we will be resurrected. And we have the hope of that. We can hold that hope on every single day, remind ourselves, so that when we do fail and we do fall, and when we do have really cloudy days, we're going to say, it's okay. I'm going to keep getting up and keep going, and Jesus is going to hold my hand, and we're going to work on this together, because one day I'm looking at that star in the distance and I'm going to make it. I'm going to get there. But we can't let our imperfections, we can't let anything get in the way of that. Just keep going. Just keep going.
It's so true. It is so true. And Christ is just a wonderful example to us of, who we want to become one day. And like, if you think about it, yes, he was perfect when he was on earth. They're like, his actions and the things that he did. He ministered to people. He performed miracles, all these wonderful things. Like, if you think about it, even in the scriptures, when he's on earth doing his ministry, he talks about to be perfect, even as his Father is perfect. And then it's not till after his resurrection, which Easter's coming around the corner, so that's so exciting. Woo! But it's not till after he's resurrected, he says in the scriptures to be perfect even as he is perfect. And so, I just think it's kind of cool how when he's on earth, he talks about being perfect like his Father, and then after he talks about being perfect, yes, like his Father, but also as he is. And so it's just cool that he makes that possible for us to achieve that one day. But right now, we just need to focus on doing the small and simple things to find joy in life. Because that's why we're here. We're here to find joy. And how do we find joy? It's experiencing the stormy days as well.
My soul is filled with sunshine, actually.
Me too.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We're so glad you were here. We hope that you can notice the sunshine in your week this week. We'd love to hear about it. Please tell us, and have a great week.
Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.
How great thou art, how great